If you're ready to connect with your authentic purpose, then you want to meet Mr. Dom Faussette. Thank you for being with us today.
Welcome. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So you're a high-profile coach, entrepreneur, international speaker, best-selling author.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. I believe you were in a traditional job, and then it was like, U-turn.
Well, I got out of high school, I joined the military. After the military, I still wanted to carry a gun and became a cop. I got to a point in law enforcement where I was 2.5 pounds of trigger pull into a 5-pound trigger to take a...
What does that mean?
I was about to shoot somebody in the line of duty. And long story short, his kids appeared from behind. It was dark. And I heard his kids. And I decided not to pull the trigger. And I was ready to go. I was ready just to leave the earth. I had seen too much and I was ready to go. I was done. And I holstered my weapon. The guy had a knife and we just collided and I apprehended him and I put my 2 weeks notice in after that. And I chased the dollar sign. I went to the corporate space and I did the corporate thing for a while. And a couple years ago, I had a buddy of mine, my wife and I are into sport bikes and him and his wife were too. And I finally got to a point where I could purchase that car, right? Because we all chased those things. And the day I got it was the day he passed on his bike. And I remember walking into my garage and just thinking to myself, like, I can't live the way I'm living because this car and the things, they don't touch this. They appease everybody else. And at that moment, I started appeasing me. I started appeasing my family, my son, my wife. And I changed in that moment. I wish it didn't take that. It did, but I like who I am now. So I left the corporate space after I wrote my book, and I haven't looked back. I've been traveling, I've been speaking, changing lives, sharing my story, and just doing what I feel I'm purposed to do.
Such a touching story, and I think so many people can relate, and I think so many people are lonely. 43% of our population is dealing with major things because, I mean, we're true believers that you can have prosperity, but if it doesn't come from based in authenticity and doing things that really matter, it just is a totally unfulfilling space. So take us through what it looks like for someone to find that. How do you, I mean, because you can't really help somebody do that. Like it has to be through a journey like, hopefully not as intense as you went through, but we all have to find it in our own ways. So do you work with people once they've kind of gone through that transition, or just inspiring people to go through that?
You know, there's a phrase I use called be the obvious choice. And I don't market a lot of my coaching. I'm consistent in my messaging on all social media platforms. I'm the same person online that I am on TV, that I am in person, that I am at my house with my wife, which I love. And when people come to me, we all take all these coaching courses and leadership courses, but the question somebody asked me one time is, what makes you happy? And I could answer every question in the world except that. I didn't know.
Isn't that fascinating?
It hurts, right? It took me a long time to figure out what it was that made me happy. And I had a psychiatrist one time tell me, she said, look, Dom, I need you to just go think about that one thing that put a smile on your face as a kid. And for me, it was skateboarding. And I was like, you know what? I can go skateboarding. Like, you look real weird not smiling on a skateboard. Like,
exactly. You look weird not smiling eating cake.
Right.
Which I'm excited about.
So often, so many of us are trapped in our own emotional prisons, our own golden cages. Whether
they don't even know it.
Their toys and their bikes, and they don't even know it.
Right.
But how does it feel differently? Because so oftentimes people don't know what it feels like to be well until they are well. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, trust me, I know exactly what you mean. It's, for me, being able to wake up and smile is so much better than money. And I ask my clients, what makes you happy? And it goes down to like the stupid things. When is the last time you've played hide and seek with your spouse in the house? Clothed or not, right? That's fun. You know, when is the last time, I remember as a kid doing wheelies in front of the girl in the neighborhood, right? You're 7, right? That kind of happiness. But we wrap it up into all of these things that involve so many different people.
But isn't it daunting if you ask an adult what makes you happy and they don't know? Like when you didn't know what makes you happy, what is the first step for somebody to find that inner happiness again?
Start writing down your idea. Like when you start writing down and you're vehemently just writing, and eventually you'll get to that thing where I asked one of my clients, what makes you happy? And he was heavy into school, double MBA, working on his PhD, all these things. And he said, Dom, I like breakdancing. I'm like, bro, then you need to go freaking breakdancing. And he competes now. Right?
Really?
Yeah, it's
Incredible, yeah.
crazy. People have all these things, and when they really stop caring about what everybody else thinks, their parents, their siblings, and they do that thing that puts a smile on their face, typically it doesn't cost anything to do it.
But who has time for that? Honestly. And I think this is a huge problem, mostly in American cultures, is that we're so driven and we're so focused on the next big gain, the promotion, the house. We don't have time to enjoy a hobby or a passion that doesn't pay us.
You stand over a man and watch him breathe his last breath. And I share this with my clients of what that looks like, watching the life sink out of somebody's eyes. It puts that into perspective, because at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, your family's going to be there. Not your 70,000 followers on Instagram, right? Not your 5,000 capped out followers on Facebook, not your viewers. No, your family's going to be there. And what do you want them to think about you while they're standing over you? Whether you're 112 or 80, it doesn't matter. What do you want them to think about you?
And what do you want them to think about you?
I want them to remember the time we were in the hallway playing Legos with my son, right? Playing Nerf gun outside, right? Skateboarding, just all the fun stuff. Things that you can do that don't cost a dime.
So well said, well said. And I think we talk about that a lot around here. We're like, we need to put more fun into, I mean, we love our lives, we're so fulfilled, and we get busy, and it's like, let's just go have fun and be good for you guys, you know, and if you can help people attain some experiences like that, there's a lot of money in that. No, just kidding.
Trap.
That's funny too.
Put you back in that trick bag.
Right. Oh man.
So rumor has it you're co-hosting with Mario Lopez, Randy Jackson at the City Summit. Tell us a little bit about the event coming up in February.
So there's an event coming up in February 21st to the 24th. City Summit, February 21st to the 23rd. City Gala on the 24th. It's just going to be an awesome event. I've never been. I met Ryan Long at a restaurant in Scottsdale, but it's. I know it's going to be fun.
Tell Ryan hi for me. Tell him he needs more women on his panel.
yes, ma'am. I will let him know.
I'll second that.
But he's giving back a lot, and that's why I like working with him and those people. For me, it's not the name. I'm not really impressed by that. I mean, I grew up. I'm in Phoenix. We don't do all this, right? But it's the heart of the person delivering the message, and that to me is most important.
I love that. So what can people expect from the summit?
They can expect to first come with an open mind, right? They can just come with an open mind, start to connect with different people, diversify your associations, and come with no expectations. Just come and be okay with adding value, and be okay with accepting the value that others are adding.
Just love that. That's great advice for all areas of life, isn't it?
Oh my God. It's great advice, hard for some to implement, but anyway.
So tell people where they can find your book and work with you. And
Oh, definitely. You can find my book on Amazon, right? It's Amazon, Dom Faussette. And I can be found on a website, domfaussette.com.
Cool.
Instagram, Dom Faussette. Everything is Dom Faussette.
And probably at a skate park somewhere, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm all about that downhill lifestyle. So we do a lot of bombing hills.
Okay, super cool.
Yeah.
What a pleasure, man.
Thank
really.
you, sir.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
so much.
that.
Stay
Thank you.
tuned. We'll be back tomorrow on Good Morning La La Land.